Matt Walsh is a nationally recognized writer, blogger, and speaker whose columns and contributions to the Blaze website have gained him a large national following. Walsh's provocative writings on politics and culture are read by millions of people a month, and he engages with hundreds of thousands through social media. Walsh is known through his writing and his speeches as a fierce and articulate defender of truth, moral values, and the Christian faith. With his new book, The Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, Marriage, and Gender, Walsh lays out a plan to defeat the progressive social agenda and reclaim American culture.
Well, joining us now is Matt Walsh. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Your book titled The Unholy Trinity, very provocative. What's the meaning behind it?
The Unholy Trinity I talk about is the three-pronged assault on our culture, to the efforts by the left to redefine human life, marriage, and gender, primarily through abortion, gay marriage, and transgenderism. And this is the center stage. These issues are the center stage of the culture war. I would say they are the culture war. And if we're going to engage, in fighting for the culture, then we have to be engaged on these issues.
Matt, I'm told that when you write a book, you should always open with a hook to keep people reading. You start your book with, the first liberal was named Lucifer. Mm-hmm. Why? It had me hooked. I went on and read. Why do you feel that liberalism is so dangerous?
Yeah, I didn't just say that to insult liberals. I guess it's not exactly a compliment.
Right?
Yeah, not exactly a compliment to compare them with Lucifer. But here's the point, that liberalism today, no matter what it was 200 years ago, today it is the rejection of objective truth, of absolute truth, of God. Yeah. And in that, once they've thrown that out, in the void, they put themselves. They put, and everything becomes relative to themselves. So I would say that liberalism today is self-worship, and that is what Satanism is. It is the worship of self.
Yeah.
You're a very, very staunch supporter of life. I mean, it's powerful, and your arguments are powerful. And I think for Christians, too, you give a great reminder. This is a huge, important issue that a lot of Christians kind of ignore. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we cannot, look, we've got 50 million dead human beings over the last 40 or 50 years. If you want to look across the entire world, it's 50 million a year across the entire world. We are seeing the world population shrink precipitously because of the genocide of the unborn. So just when you look at the sheer death toll, how can we skip over this or say, well, that's an issue, but it's a side issue? If that's a side issue, then what's the issue bigger than that? I would challenge anyone to tell me what's more important than the murder of 50 million people.
Yeah, it's hard to grasp. The numbers are so large that the impact isn't always quite as personal as it should be for something like that. We want to show a disturbing Planned Parenthood video that was released hours after felony charges were filed against pro-life activists. It shows what could be a cover-up infanticide. Let's roll that clip and take a look.
How I feel about it coming out intact, but I got to worry about my staff and people's feelings about it coming out looking like a baby. We have the people who do our paperwork for the fetal death certificates. They email us calling them babies, baby this, baby that, baby so and so, and I'm like, that's creepy.
Yeah,
Is there any standard procedure for verifying signs of life?
Well, the thing is,
that doesn't go in a chart.
I mean, the key is you need to pay attention to who's in the room, right? My biceps appreciate when the ditch works.
Really? It's in the biceps when you're doing a D&E?
It does not take me any longer to complete the procedure, but it takes more force. So I have to go to the gym for this. I just got to the gym.
Let's go to the gym.
Wow. I mean, it's just hard to understand.
The laughter?
Yeah. What's your reaction to that?
The first reaction is just disgust and anger.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't feel anger watching a video like that, I don't care how many times we've seen videos like this, if you don't feel anger over that, then you're dead inside. You're as dead inside as that woman is. And that's one of the things I worry about, that we're becoming so desensitized. Even those of us who are pro-life are so kind of used to it that, there's an abortion clinic down the street where people, they just kill babies. It's like a normal thing, right? It's like the DMV. And I worry that it's become such a normal part of our life that we don't react the way we should. But that is, what you're seeing there is someone who just has, their soul is just dying inside them. And it is a sad thing, but it's also infuriating.
Matt, this isn't a book that just takes on the left, so to speak. I mean, when you talk about issues like gay marriage, one of the things you take on is how Christians in this country really have been a part of the breakdown of marriage. Talk about that.
Yeah, this is the aspect of the marriage discussion that we don't want to discuss. But look, the left has accused Christians of being hypocrites on marriage. We care about the sanctity of marriage, but then we say nothing about, divorce and all these other things, that's pornography, all these other things that sully marriage. And the thing is, on that, they're right about that. They're right when they make that point, and I hate it when they get to be right about something. But they are right that we abandoned the notion of a sacred marital covenant decades before gay marriage came along. So gay marriage was just a progression. It was a logical progression of what had started with us, I would argue.
And here you are very recently in the news again because of something you wrote. And who would have thought now here Mike Pence is under attack for saying he will not go out with another woman alone other than his wife. He comes under attack for it, and you're pretty passionate about this issue, defending him.
Well, I am outraged that he respects his marriage. Apparently, a lot of people are. They hear about a man respecting his wife and his marriage, and they feel angry about it. I mean, this is where we are in our culture. That I think people have no respect for marriage, and they see monogamy. And this is all that they were talking about: is they're monogamous, and so they protect that monogamy, and they put these protections in place so that they don't teeter on the edge of infidelity. But I think people in our culture see the monogamous marriage as kind of this relic of a patriarchal past. And they're opposed to it. Yeah,
because if I may, Terry, Billy Graham had the same thought process. I have not read of him being criticized for it. As the generations have gone on, it's become more foolish, to be holy.
Actually, it was seen as wisdom in that time.
I would think. I guess I'm still kind of naive that even after writing a book called The Unholy Trinity, I'm naive about our culture because I thought that this was pretty standard operating procedure for a marriage. I had no idea that it was controversial.
Yeah.
So, but I'm surprised every day by the way things are going.
You say that gay marriage is actually a contradiction in terms. Talk about that.
Well, this is what the point that we should be making about gay marriage. It's not that we want to ban gay marriage or make it illegal. What we're saying is that gay marriage is an impossibility because marriage is a certain thing. Like it's like a geometry, right? It's a triangle is a triangle. I don't want to ban a square from being a triangle. It just isn't.
Right.
And I wouldn't be in favor of a law that says we have to call triangles squares because that makes it really, things confusing. Yeah. So a marriage is there are two elements of it: permanence and that it's procreative in principle, right? And if you take those elements out, then it's not a marriage. You cannot remove in principle the procreative aspect of marriage and still have a marriage. You have something, but it's not marriage.
Yeah. Matt, when it comes to the transgender issue, if you read the news, you would think most people walking the planet are having transgender issues and concerns and struggles in their own life. But statistics would show that's not the case. Why do you think the transgender issue has taken over the culture so much?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got 12 people in Portland who call themselves transgender, and all of a sudden it's become this international issue. But I think the reason is it's not about the quote-unquote transgenderism itself. It's about if we can get people to accept, if the left can get people to accept that philosophy, think about the power it gives them. Then we've accepted the idea that we have so much power over reality, over biology, that we can change our sex. So even if we decide not to change our sex, it's kind of nice to know that we have that power. And so that's what I think the left is trying to establish, and why we should oppose them, even if transgenderism itself is kind of a small, there aren't very many people who subscribe to it.
The Unholy Trinity: life, marriage, gender are the issues you address.
Yeah.
Why those three?
Because these are the foundational issues of any civilization. Any civilization is built first on human life, sacredness of human life, on the family, and families are built on marriage. And then gender, the fact, and this is one that we didn't even think we'd have to talk about, but the fact that human society is built on two people, the man and the woman. And when you start breaking down those definitions and those barriers, that pillar starts to come down. So that's why those are the issues that anyone who calls themselves a Christian, anyone who calls himself a conservative, These are the issues that we need to be focused on.
Be knowledgeable. Listen, this book will help you to do that. If you want to hear more, pick up a copy of Matt's new book. It's called The Unholy Trinity. It's available wherever books are sold. Highly recommend that you read it. Matt, great to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.